Have you ever witnessed a moment of pure, unscripted kindness so profound it made you question everything you thought you knew about strangers? A moment that didn't just change the lives of the people involved, but also, completely changed mine as the person watching. That's exactly what happened on Flight 227, in C-12B. I was just trying to get home, but what I saw between a lonely little girl and a struggling father, it rewired my heart. Stick with me, because this isn't just their story anymore. It's a lesson for all of us. Quick pause, direct eye contact. Host. And if you believe in the power of true kindness, you're going to want to hear this whole tale. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because True Kindness Tales is all about bringing light to the moments that remind us we're all human. This one is special. The hum of the Airbus A320 was a lullaby of indifference. I was in 12A, the window seat, already mentally drafting emails, a briefcase of corporate tensions at my feet. To my left, in 12B, was a man who seemed carved from quiet desperation. He was perhaps in his late 30s, but weariness aged him. His clothes were clean but tired, the cuffs of his shirt slightly frayed. On his lap, he cradled a sleeping boy of about 4, whose gentle breaths were the only sign of life from their duo. The father's eyes were fixed on the seatback in front of him, not seeing the safety card, but some private, painful horizon. Every so often, his hand would come up, almost mechanically, to smooth his son's hair, a gesture of such ingrained tenderness it clashed with the hollow look in his eyes. Across the aisle in 12C was a different world. A little girl, no more than 6, was a burst of meticulous color in a designer travel dress. Her name was Lily, I'd overheard. She was traveling with a severe-looking woman in the row behind, her nanny, utterly absorbed in a tablet. Lily had a procession of expensive, silent toys arrayed on her tray table, but she wasn't playing with them. Instead, she was watching the man and his sleeping son with the unwavering focus only a child possesses. The flight attendants came through with the snack cart. The rattle woke the little boy, who blinked up at his father. "I'm hungry, Daddy," he whispered, his voice small against the engine's drone. The father's body went rigid. He leaned down, his voice a low, pained murmur I could barely catch. "I know, buddy. Just try to sleep a little more. We'll get something big when we land, I promise." The promise sounded thin, even to me. The boy's lip trembled, but he nodded, burying his face in his father's chest. The man closed his eyes, a muscle jumping in his jaw. He hadn't ordered a thing. Lily watched this entire exchange, her brow furrowed. When the attendant offered her a cookie from her premium snack pack, she took it absently. She held the wrapped treat, looking at its shiny surface, then back at the little boy who was pretending to sleep. Her nanny tapped her shoulder to offer a juice box, but Lily shook her head, deep in thought. The divide in that row was palpable. On one side, quiet affluence and loneliness, on the other, silent poverty and profound love. And I, the accidental witness in the middle, felt a strange guilt for my own comfort, for my earlier annoyance at the flight's Wi-Fi being slow. The journey stretched on, a capsule of unspoken stories at 35,000 feet, until Lily, with the decisive courage of childhood, made her move. Lily unbuckled her seatbelt with a determined click. She slid off her seat, her tiny feet in shiny Mary Janes planted firmly in the aisle. She held the single wrapped cookie in both hands, like an offering. She took one small step toward the man and his son. The father, sensing movement, turned his head. His eyes were guarded, expecting a complaint or an inconvenience. Lily didn't speak at first. She simply extended her arms, presenting the cookie to the sleepy boy. The little boy peered out, his eyes wide. "For me," he breathed. Lily nodded, a serious little diplomat. The father's face flushed with a complex emotion, embarrassment, gratitude, pride. "Oh, no, sweetheart. That's yours. You keep it. It's very kind, but we're okay." His voice was gentle but firm. Lily's arm didn't waver. She looked directly at the father, and then she asked the question. The question that would hang in the air between us all, forever. Her voice was clear, a bell in the cabin's murmur. "If I share my cookie, will you stay?" The world seemed to shrink to that aisle. The father's breath hitched. He understood, instantly, the deeper meaning. This wasn't just about a snack. This little girl, surrounded by everything money could buy, was bargaining for company with a cookie. She was offering her only point of connection to make him and his son stay, not on the plane, but present, with her, in a moment of shared humanity. The raw loneliness in her question shattered his reserve. His eyes glistened. "Oh, honey," he said, his voice cracking. He didn't take the cookie. Instead, he made a space on his son's lap. "Would you like to sit with us for a bit? We'd love the company." Lily's face lit up like a sunrise. She didn't look back at her nanny. She carefully climbed onto the man's son's lap, a three-child pile of instant friendship. She unwrapped the cookie and broke it neatly into 3 pieces. She gave the largest to the boy, a piece to his father, and kept the smallest for herself. The father accepted his piece as if it were a sacrament. I saw him swallow hard, not just cookie, but a lump of pride and emotion. The little boy giggled, chewing happily. Lily, sitting regally in her new throne, began chattering about her toys, offering them to the boy. The father listened, asking her questions, his entire being focused on her words. The transformation was breathtaking. The desperate man was gone, replaced by a kind, attentive adult. The lonely heiress was gone, replaced by a giggling little girl. They had built a lifeboat out of a cookie crumb. The rest of the flight passed in a different dimension. Lily's nanny, after one startled look, had shrugged and returned to her tablet, relieved for the peace. I pretended to read, but my every sense was tuned to the tiny kingdom across the aisle. The father, whose name was Ben, as I learned, told Lily silly stories. His son, Eli, slowly blossomed from shyness into showing Lily his only toy, a small, worn wooden truck. Lily treated it like a treasure. She fetched her iPad and they watched cartoons together, 3 heads huddled close. Ben's weariness seemed to melt, not away, but into something softer. He was being needed in the simplest, most profound way, as a storyteller, a protector, a fellow cookie eater. For Lily, she had finally found someone who truly saw her, not as a responsibility or an accessory, but as a person worth sharing time with. As the plane began its descent, the magic hour had to end. Lily's nanny stirred, collecting things. The seatbelt sign dinged. Lily's face fell. She looked at Ben, then at Eli, then dug into her little purse. She pulled out a crayon and a crumpled receipt. On it, she drew a careful heart. She gave it to Ben. "So you don't forget me," she stated. Ben took it, his hand trembling slightly. "I could never forget you, Lily. Thank you for our party." He then did something extraordinary. From his worn wallet, he took a small, faded photograph of him and Eli. He handed it to Lily. "So you don't forget that there are nice people everywhere." It was possibly his only copy. Lily held it to her chest and nodded solemnly. We landed. The bustle of arrival broke the spell. The nanny whisked Lily away with a curt nod. Ben gathered a drowsy Eli, his few belongings. We filed out, back into the stream of separate lives. At the baggage claim, I saw a woman in a sharp suit kneel to embrace Lily, who was chattering excitedly, showing the photograph. The CEO mother. I saw Ben, holding Eli, scanning the crowd with renewed resolve in his eyes. He caught my glance and gave a small, knowing smile. I smiled back. They never saw each other again in the chaos. But that wasn't the point. The transaction was complete. A cookie for companionship, a picture for a promise. A shared moment that filled 2 different kinds of emptiness. I walked to my car, but I didn't drive off immediately. I just sat there, thinking about the economy of kindness. How the smallest, purest currency, a child's offering, holds the greatest value. Ben didn't get a job offer from a CEO that day. Lily didn't get a new brother. But they both got a reminder that they were seen, that they mattered, that kindness is never a one-way street. It was a lesson bought for the price of a cookie, and it changed this weary business traveler in 12A forever. I never got their full names. But I think about them every single day. That father, Ben, he found the strength to keep going because a little girl saw his struggle and offered her cookie. And that little girl, Lily, she learned that the greatest gift isn't what's wrapped in foil, but the connection you wrap around someone else's heart. They gave each other a moment of pure, true kindness. And friends, that's why I started this channel. To find and share these beams of light in a sometimes dark world. If this story touched your heart, if you believe in these moments, please help me spread this light. Like this video, share it with someone who needs a reminder of goodness, and subscribe to True Kindness Tales. Your subscription is more than a click, it's a vote for more stories that heal, connect, and remind us of our shared humanity. Who knows? The next story might be yours. Until then, stay kind.